The kingdom of my divine will in the midst of creatures. Book of Heaven, Volume 36, Part 1. In Voluntate Dei. April 12th, 1938. One who lives in the divine will pronounces his fiat in every act he does, and forms many divine lives. The difference between living in the divine will and being resigned to it. I am always in the arms of the divine fiat, and oh, how I feel the need of its life, that breathes, palpitates, and circulates in my poor soul. Without it, I feel that everything dies for me. The light, the sanctity, the strength, even the very heaven dies, as if it wouldn't belong to me any more. But as soon as I feel its life, everything rises again in me. The light rises, which with its beauty gives life, purity, and sanctity. My Jesus himself rises with all his works. Heaven rises, which the Holy Will encloses in my soul, as in a chapel, to make it all my own. If I live in his will, everything is mine, and nothing can miss. O Holy Will, as I start this 36th volume, I pray you, I beg you, I implore you not to leave me, not even one instant, so that you speak, you write, you will make yourself known, and make known how you want to be the life of all, in order to give your goods to all. If you let me do it, I won't be able to make you known as you want, because I'm incapable. But if you do it, you will triumph. You will be known, and you will have your kingdom in the whole world. O Holy Will, with your power you eclipse all the evils of the creatures. You put your almighty end, so that they leave the way of sin, and find themselves in the way of your divine will. To you, Queen Mother of the divine fiat, I consecrate this volume in a special way, so that your love, your maternity, may be spread throughout these pages, to call your children to live together with you in that same will whose kingdom you possessed. As I start, kneeling at your feet, I implore your maternal blessing. So while my mind was immersed in the divine fiat, my sweet Jesus, visiting my little soul with inexpressible goodness, told me, "My blessed daughter of my will, how many wonders my will can make in the creature, as long as she gives it the first place and all the freedom to operate. My will takes the will, the word, the act that the creature wants to do, as part of itself, covers it with its creative virtue, pronounces its fiat in it, and forms as many lives for as many existing creatures. You were asking in my will for the baptism of all newborn babies that will come to the light of the day, and then for its life to reign in them, My will did not hesitate for one instant. Soon it pronounced its fiat, and formed as many lives from itself, for as many newborn babies coming to the light, baptizing them as you wanted, with its first light, and then giving each one of them its life. If these newborn babies, for lack of knowledge, will not possess our life, this life still remains for us, and we shall have as many divine lives which love us, glorify us, bless us, as we do ourselves. These divine lives are our greatest glory, but they don't put aside the creature who gave our fiat the opportunity to form so many of our lives for these newborn babies who are coming to the light. Rather, they keep her hidden in themselves, to let her love as they love, and let her do what they do. Neither would they set the newborn babies aside. Rather, they would give them so much attention, guard and defend them, as to be able to reign in their soul. My daughter, who can tell you how much we love this creature who lives in our will? We love her so much that we leave our will in her power to let her do what she wants. If she wants to form our lives, we let her do that. If she wants to fill heaven and earth with our love, we give her the freedom to do it. So much so that she can make everyone say that they love us. We even hear the I love you of one who lives in our will in the little bird that trills and warbles and sings. If in the ardor of her love she wants to love more, she can enter our creative act and delight herself with new suns, heavens, and stars, making us say unceasingly, I love you, I love you, and taking part in narrating our glory. In our will, the sight is long and all attentive to see what she wants and how she can love us more. My God, how many wonders, how many surprises there are in your will! Its sweet enchantment is so great that not only does one remain captivated, but as if embalmed, transformed in the wonders of the fiat, in such a way that one doesn't know how to get out of it. So I was thinking to myself, what is the difference between one who lives in the divine will, one who is resigned to the painful circumstances of life, and one who doesn't do the divine will at all? My sweet Jesus, coming back, added, My blessed daughter, the difference is so big that there is no comparison at all. One who lives in my will has dominion over all, and we love her so much that we even let her dominate ourselves. We are so pleased in seeing the little creature dominating us that we feel unusual joy, because we see that our will dominates in the creature, and she dominates together with our will. Oh, how many times we let her win! Many times our joy is so great that we let our will win in the creature instead of in ourselves. Further, by living in the divine will, Being in continuous contact with it, she acquires divine senses. She acquires a long sight. Her light is so penetrating and clear that she can even fix herself in God, in whom she sees the divine mysteries. She can touch our sanctity and beauty, loving them and possessing them. With this eye of light, she can find her Creator everywhere. There's nothing in which she cannot find him. With his majesty and his love, he bundles the creature and makes her feel how much he loves her. In feeling her love, he loves her, and oh, how unspeakable the joys on both parts! Feeling his love and loving him in everything. She acquires divine hearing, and soon she hears what we want. She is always intent on listening to us, and there is no need to repeat again and again what we want. A small sign is enough, and all is done. She acquires a divine sense of smell. By merely smelling, she feels whether that which is around her is good, holy, and belongs to us. She acquires divine taste to the extent that she fills herself with love, and all that is heaven. Finally, in our will, she acquires our touch, so that all is pure and holy, and there is no fear that even the smallest breath may shade her. How beautiful, lovely, and pretty the one who lives in my Fiat. On the other hand, one who is only resigned does not live in continuous contact with us. It can be said that she does not know anything about our Supreme Being. Her sight is so weak and sickly that it is painful for her even to look. She suffers from the last stage of myopia, and she can hardly see even the most necessary things. She can hardly hear, and how very much it takes to make her listen, if she listens at all. Her smell, taste, and touch sense what is human. She feeds herself with earthly things, feels the touch of passions, and the sweetness of mundane pleasures. She does not even do my will every day, but only in painful circumstances and encounters, when my will offers her a suffering. Oh, poor creatures without my continuous will! How weak they grow, so nervous and ill as to move to pity. How I pity them! Finally, one who is not even resigned, blind and with no sense of smell, loses the taste for every good. She is a poor paralytic who can't really help herself. She imprisons herself in a web of unhappiness and sins, and is not able to get out. Fiat. April 15th, 1938. Those who live in the divine will move in the Fiat just by breathing. They can feel within themselves the whole heavenly court, its breathing, its motion, and its virtue of conquest and happiness. Painful conditions for the divine will when it is rejected. My poor mind runs, flies in the divine will towards its center, to rest, to leave its remains, and to take, in exchange, the clothing of its light, its breathing, its heartbeat, and its motion, which moves in all and gives life to all. Now, while I was swimming in the ocean of joys of the divine Fiat, my always adorable Jesus, doing his short little visit with unspeakable love, told me, "My little daughter of my will, how beautiful it is to live in my will. As the soul enters it, she breathes with our breathing, beats with our heartbeat, and moves in our motion. In communion with all, she does what the angels, the saints, and all created things do, and makes everybody do what she is doing. The wonders contained in our will are astonishing. The scenes are so touching and unique as to capture everybody, making all attentive in enjoying them. Who knows what they would do to enjoy, as spectators, such delightful scenes from this soul who lives in the divine will? Now you have to know that as the soul enters my divine will, she breathes, palpitates, and moves in our motion. But she does not lose her own breath, heartbeat, and motion, although it is never detached from ours. Since our will is everywhere, and circulates more than the breathing, heartbeat, and motion of all, then what happens? The angels and the saints, our very divinity, and the whole creation, together with my will, feel the breathing and the heartbeat of the creature within them. They all feel her moving inside, even to the center of their souls. They are full of happiness, of new unspeakable joys, which the pilgrim's soul brings to each blessed, since this soul is not enjoying, but suffering and conquering with her free will. It is merely by breathing, palpitating, and moving in the fullness of joy that the soul, always united to my will, brings ever new joys from breathing in her own will. And since it is the free will that forms the conquering act of the creature, she gives me this new conquering flavor. Oh, how happy the blessed, our own divinity, and the whole creation remain. And in an emphasis of love and fullness of joy, they say, "Who is breathing, palpitating, and moving in us? Who from the earth is bringing the conquering act of pure joys, of new love, that we do not have in heaven, and that makes us so happy, increasing in us our reciprocating love?" And all in chorus, "It is a soul who lives in the divine will on earth." What prodigies! What wonders! How enchanting the scenes! A breathing that breathes in all, even in its Creator, that moves in all, even through heaven, in the stars, in the sun, in the air, in the wind, in the ocean. It takes everything in hand in its own motion, and gives to God love and adoration, all that everyone should give, but has never given. She gives to all her God, His love, His will, and she brings everything to God, and God to everybody. Even if not all creatures would take us, we remain equally loved and glorified, because such is the fullness of one act, one motion in our will, that all those creatures remain as many little drops of water before an immense ocean, like many little flames before the great light of the sun. Therefore, this motion, breathing, and palpitating of the creature in our will abounds in all, hugs eternity. Suns and oceans are formed, so immense that they can give us everything. And even if others do not accept this life, they remain so small that it is as if they did not exist. Oh, my will, how admirable, powerful, and adorable you are! The creature in you can give us all, and we can give all to her. She covers everything and everyone. She makes love arise with her light, and gives us love for all. We can say she offers true reparation, because when the creatures offend us, we find that she can hide us in her love, in order to love us, and inside her light to defend us, putting to flight, with her light, those who want to wound us. Therefore, always cherish in your heart, living in our will. Then he added, My daughter, the love for one who lives in our will is so great that as she breathes, she gives us, as a gift, all that we have done, the creation, the angels, the saints, our own supreme being, our love and glory. So, taken by such excess of love, we give her back what she has given us. As she exhales, she returns to us all that we are. As she inhales, we return to her what she gave us. We are in continuous relation and exchange of gifts. By this, we continuously strengthen our love, our inseparability, and we feel so much delight that we give her all that she wants. But while I was feeling drowned in the divine will, the thought of my poor state was troubling me. The fact that I had to succumb to a sort of death every night, for 50 years and more, until someone would come to get me out of that state. My God, I feel such pain. You know how much pain and how much it costs me. Only the fear of displeasing you and not doing your will holds me on. Otherwise, who knows what I would do not to be submitted to this? And my sweet Jesus ran toward me, and clasping me tight in his arms, told me, My good daughter, be of good cheer. Don't be too worried. I do not want you worried. It is your Jesus who wants this painful state for you, this succumbing, as if you were losing your life. I suffer it together with you, since true love cannot deny anything to the loved one. And then, this state of yours, so painful, as if losing your life, was necessary and wanted by my divine will. It wanted to find in you the return and reparation for the many deaths that the creatures inflict upon it when they reject it, not giving it life within themselves. Submitting yourself for so long to these pains of death repaid my divine will for the many deaths given to it, and called it to kiss the human will, to make peace. It is thanks to this I could speak so much about my will. You must know that anything the creature does in my will runs to give and form life within it. Otherwise, not receiving it, my life dies for her. Do you think it is nothing for me, this great pain of seeing so many of my divine lives dead for the creatures? Therefore it was necessary to find one who, in some way, would reignite my yearning to form my life in them. My will is in the same condition as a poor mother, who is ready to deliver, but is prevented from giving life, and this life suffocates in her own womb. Poor mother, she feels her baby dying in her womb, and she dies of pain with him. Such is my will. It feels in itself the birth of many divine lives already mature, which it wants to give to the creatures. But as it is about to deliver them, it feels them suffocating in its womb. The new life dies, and my will with it, since there cannot be a true life of sanctity, love, or anything belonging to our divine life without my will. Therefore, my daughter, calm down, and do not think about it any more. If we did this, we did it with the highest wisdom, with love that we could not contain, and for the sake of the order which we keep in our works. It is necessary to bend and adore what we dispose for love of the creatures. Fiat. You have reached the end of the Book of Heaven, Volume 36, Part 1. Fiat.